the Coding Bootcamp for Beginners Week 3. We're going to get started just now. Before we got interrupted, I was asking about homework. Did anyone have any issues? And getting that started, getting that pseudocode converted into a flowchart?
So Jay was having some issues getting the right shapes in the right chain of code. Is that right?
Okay, so yeah, we've got different different shapes for different uses. So give me a second. Let's get through all of this. Yep, we know this. So CodeCamp is part of SkillCamp, which is a non-for-profit, which wants to help you achieve your goals, whatever they might be. We have various classes for screenwriting, novel writing, and for coding, and animation. You can access all classes if you get unlimited membership for $49 a month. So yeah, this course is free throughout. But other classes that we do in the future, like our database bootcamp and our website bootcamp, you will need to upgrade to and become a supporting member to access those in the future, and they are coming up in the next few months. So once we finish this 6-week course, we will launch. I'm not sure which bootcamp we'll do first. It will either be database or website, and around the same time we'll launch database. But this course will keep running, so we'll have cohorts sort of every 8-ish weeks, and we'll start again. So if there was anything you didn't understand in this course, or if we went too fast, or please do say now, because it'll be better for you. But if you want to come back again, then we'll start again. We'll be announcing the date a little later, in a few weeks after we're finished. These are all of the classes that we offer for different skills. So we've got Scripts Camp for screenwriters, Words Camp for authors. We've got camps servers for filmmakers, content creators, animators, and coming soon we'll have language classes on Lingo Camp and design classes on Design Camp. So yeah, again, this course is about teaching you the basics. And yes, we're moving quite quickly. So if we are moving too quick for you, do let me know. Next week we'll be looking at lists and art. So we'll be making a shopping list. We'll be making finding and fixing bugs in week 5. Week 6 will be getting data from APIs, or which is basically getting third-party data and making use of that data, formatting it or putting it in whatever sort of layout that we need to make our own apps. This week they will be looking at functions and what they do, and we'll be making a calculator as well. So yeah, skip past all of that. We've got different variables and user inputs. We learnt that a couple of weeks ago. We'll use some of that information again this week. Pseudocode and flowcharts. This is what we were looking at last week, and we gave some homework for you to do. So last week you all wrote down some pseudocode. Some were for different things, so I can't remember who was who now. If we go into the chat, not that bit. So Nacho, for example, wrote a bit on, making a cup of coffee, I think, yeah. And so you can translate that into, into a flowchart. Jay wrote fill in a glass of water, I think. Yeah, so different people had different things, and the idea was just to convert that into a flowchart. So, for example, you can see here, you've got start, we'd have, this would say, for example, actually we'd probably have an if statement first. So if the glass is empty, and then if it's true, then we'd move over and we'll have an action box. So actually, I'll tell you what, let me write this on the screen for you. So we have a screen here. Start. Is everyone able to see my screen, yeah? I can't hear anyone. Okay, everyone's muted, okay. I thought someone was talking. So if the glass is empty, then what we do is put the glass, I think this is what Jay was saying, put glass on the tap. That would be step one. And then turn tap on. And then we'd have an if statement, a while loop, sorry. So while, we got the semicolon. While tap is finished. While glass is not full. Not full. Then do nothing essentially. And then we'll turn off the tap. And then we finish. So you can see this flowchart here. So if the glass is empty, assuming it is empty glass, put the glass under the tap, turn the tap on. Check, we're going to go down here. If the glass is not full, then go up here and we're going to basically check again. So maybe we'll have like a wait for like 1 second. So that way it's checking every 1 second. If the glass is not full, wait 1 second and check again. Is the glass full? Wait a second. In real life, it might be a bit shorter so that, to account for reaction times. But this is what your brain is doing. You're sort of thinking, is the glass full now? And you're constantly checking. And then when the glass is full, turn off a tap. And that's the end of the program. So yeah, that's one flowchart maker that you can use to, convert your pseudocode into your flowchart. So yeah, again, flowcharts are diagrams that show the logic of a program or the flow, you might describe it as. And they use multiple conditions, these if statements or these sort of diamond shapes. And you have different inputs or different outcomes or different processes for it to do, and different comparisons and so on. Now, what we're going to do now is we're going to start with actually making a calculator. When I find the tab. And the way we're going to do that, make sure you all have Python opened up. I'm going to open up Python here. There you go. So if you can all open up Python, and you'd probably have a shell. So you'd have I have a shell here to show you. Let me write this just so that you can see. So you've probably got something that looks like this. If you've got that, when you open up your Python, you'll need to press Command N or Control N, and you'll get something that looks like this. We'll separate them up to make it easier to work with. Now, there are different ways that you can do any projects that you're making. So when I was a bit younger, what I would do is I would have different inputs. So for example, I would have input 1, input an integer or a number, a whole number, because that's how I did it when I was younger. The second input would be what operation do you want to do, so add, subtract, multiply, or divide. And then I'd have a third input, which would be the second number, and then it would output the answer. So let's write that program today. That's one button. So the way that we did that was, can anyone remember how to do an integer? Sorry, how to input an integer? Can you see my screen now? Large screen. Okay. Yep, I can do that. Hopefully that's a bit more clear to see. Go back into just... Yeah, is everyone able to see? Okay. Now the way that we, get an input, we have a variable name. We won't give it a fancy name, we'll just call it X. Oh, sorry. Need to close that box before I can type. X, that's just going to be what our variable name is called for now. X int input. Now, the input inside the brackets and the speech marks is where we put the prompt, so what we're asking people to do. So we might say enter number here, enter first number here. And what the integer does is it is making sure that it's an integer. If you close the chat and open, okay.
Not for you, Joel. I just meant for
Jay, yeah.
Okay, so Jay's really struggling. One thing, Jay, try making your Discord window like wider or skinnier. Sometimes that will adjust it a little bit. So if it's a little wider, because it will be, because I think Joel's screen is like 16 by 9. So if you stretch it out like long, so not tall and skinny, but wide, that can help. Or you can just close you see the little, if you're on a computer, the top right corner, it's just a little X to close the chat. And that will make, just the screen of Joel's really big, and you can still see all the channels. And you just click the show chat again to show the text chat. Hopefully that helps.
Okay, so we have this integer, and basically this is a bit of validation to make sure that the right kind of input is being inputted. Okay. And so the second variable that we're going to have will be called op for operation. And again, we will have an input. This one won't be an integer because we will probably input something like d for divide, m for multiply, and so on. So this will be operation. And we'll have y, which will be enter second number. Let's copy and paste this. Now, for the time being, we'll make an integer. I think we'll change it in a bit. Change this to second. Right. And then once we've got all of our inputs, we need to perform the actual calculation, which would be, we need to check what operation is being asked of the computer. So we're going to do if operation, that's not if, is equal to d. Then we're going to ask it to do x slash y, save it as a variable. We're going to call it a for answer. So this slash means divide. It's a divide sign, basically. You would also have sort of an asterisk for multiply, minus for minus, obviously, and plus for plus. So we've set our variable a to x, whatever x is that we had inputted, divided by y, whatever y is that we've got. And then we're going to print a. Like so. Let's check this and run it. So enter first number. We're gonna do 10. Gonna do d for divide, and 5 as our second number, and we get 2, as you can see there. Now we can copy and paste this. Copy, paste. And we're going to change the if to an elif, which is basically else if. I'll tell you why in just a second. We need one for subtract and one for add. So let's change this to add. I'm going to call this S for subtract. And multiply, and we're going to change all of the ifs after the first if. So the second, third, and fourth ifs to elifs. Oopsie. There we go. Right then. So let's run this again. So our first number here will be 10. We'll do 7, and we've got our answer 17. Let's run this again. Well, this time I want to use decimals. In this case, we've got we'll do 2.5, and you can see we've got an error code here. Now I've got 2 mouses on my screen. The reason we've got this error code is because we've asked it